This thing is a lot more compact than I thought it was going to be. Why am I even here? It's really short in its overall length. That's what she... No, I'm not going to finish it. No, I gotta quit doing that. You can finish it and comment though, and I know you love those references. I know you. Yes, you love them. So do I. They're funny. No, I'm talking about the rifle, guys. The Howa 1500 Mini Action 7.62-39 is the caliber I chose for test and review in the Nut and Fancy project. Very short in its overall length. That's what I'm talking about. It shouldn't even be here in the bunker because it would have fit on tabletop, no problemo. Very small gun. It is mini in its size. You can integrate this into all types of systems. Welcome to the Nut and Fancy review. In the bunker. That's right, in the bunker. Here we are, here we shall stay. We're not going to tabletop for this one. But seriously, I was sitting here looking, I was like, why am I in the bunker for this one? This thing's a tiny little gun. I could have easily fit it on the tablecloth. Whatevs. We got lots of cool stuff to look at in the background though. A lot of that stuff you have not seen yet, y'all. Gotta review that, Nuttin. All right, here's your review. It's awesome and it's a replica. Review complete. Yeah, it's not real. Looks cool though, I love it. Look at this sweet katana. Chines Nagasa. Reviewed previously. Blue cotton wrapped handle. 9260 spring steel. This is a combat worthy katana. This ain't no showpiece. Tempered spring steel. I think this one has a real Hammond line on it. Nah, it's fake, sorry, I lied. Really cool sword though. Nice decoration in the back. We have a stainless steel old school Mini 14. Go check out that video. I just did an update. Palmetto AK variant. Bro, that is a barricade review. Check it out. It was windy. I think the mic thing will still work. About that, so sorry. I'm trying out, I was trying out a bunch of different microphone options in my operational reviews on the barricade. And I found one that works. It's going to be a lapel mic. That one was not without. It was a boom mic, blah, blah, blah. I still will post it. Check it out. Posting first on Patreon. The Nut and Fancy Project Patreon feed. Really the only way I can monetize. So as long as I'm doing that, I keep working and honestly working my butt off for you guys. 40 hours a week. Easy, easy. Testing, review, product research, notes, more research, modifications of the gear, selling the gear, buying the gear, getting the gear, just like this Howa 1500 Mini Action. How'd you like the tie-in? Oh, I like that, Nut. That was fun. Circled back around. I wasn't expecting it. This came from Gunnies, the Great American Sporting Goods store. Yeah, Wyatt and company, Ron, the manager, very helpful in loaning me, not giving me, loaning me certain guns for test and review. This is one of them. No money exchanging hands. It's a completely pure process. If I like the gun, I buy it from them. I do it occasionally. I was like, hey, if this suits my purposes, my personal systems, and more importantly, if it's a good cast member for TNP, then I'll buy it. And let me give you a good example of that. And we're going to get to the gun in a minute, but we have fun here in the bunker. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh yeah, this one. So I did a barricade review, again, in the windy desert. Go check that out if you haven't already. You guys recognize this bad boy?
70 shoots smooth.
Remington TAC 14, detachable magazine, 12 gauge, Nut and Fancy, and I see you put skateboard tape on the fore end. Man, dude, you're on it. That's exactly what has happened. Nothing gets past you. Right. So this is a good example of what I'm talking about. So I loaned this, checked it out from Gunnies. I think it's a great cast member. I don't think that I need it in my personal systems, but it's great for doing what we're doing right here. And it's a great comparison for a super compact, special purpose. That's what I've always said about these very short shotguns, combat shotgun. And I really like the DM version of the 870. I really like how smooth it is. I mean, look at this, by the way. So the action is starting to pop open under its own weight. As it gets into about, I don't know, 800 rounds, 1,000 rounds, a lot of shooting, smoothing the pieces out, it should drop to right about here. Now my 1300s, I've demoed this before. I'll press the action button and it'll drop like all the way. But I've had those since the 90s, thousands of rounds through them. And so your shotgun will get that way if you shoot a lot. Maybe not a 500 or 590 Mossberg action. Those are stiffer. They're just not as smooth. But the dual action 870, really nice action, very smooth. And by the way, I did hear you, bro. One TNPer, Patreon member's like, hey, you got to put like insulated foam pipe on the SB tactical brace when you shoot that TAC 14. It might smooth it out a little bit for you nutting. And I did think about that for the review, but I just didn't want to have it on there, and I want to test it out. What hurts the cheek when you shoot this gun is the angle right here. So this is not straight back. This is where your cheek is, and it just smacks right into your cheekbone. It's not a recreational shotgun. It's special purpose. You wouldn't shoot that many rounds out of it if you really needed to. Maybe 2 magazines if that, but it's starting to smooth out. And it just dawned on me, by the way, I like my shotguns like I like my riding partners with motorcycles. Smooth, fast, and reliable. That's right, just like a good pump action shotgun. I do ride with other guys occasionally, and they are none of the above usually. They're not smooth. They're all over the place. They're not reliable. I look back, where'd they go? Who knows? And they're not fast. They're slow. Here's a Hayabusa, by the way. Mine's in yellow. Motorcycle people of TNP unite. Hayabusa, still awesome. Love it. Go check out my ZX-14R review as well. Okay, back to a bolt action rifle. Good times. No, TD is not here. It doesn't matter. I carry the show anyhow. I do. He'll sit over here silently, and I'll say, dude, say something. He's like, I got nothing to say. I'm like, well, think of something. Nope, I'm carrying the show, so it doesn't matter. We love having him. He's super funny. When he comes out with something, it's usually a zinger. Howa 1500. Now, I did not specifically come to Gunnies and say, hey, I want a mini action. I just wanted eventually to review a Howa 1500 of some flavor. I just ended up with a mini action in 7.6239 because I thought it'd be a great contrast to the Ruger American bolt action rifle reviewed, I don't know, about 2 years ago. Jardine and I shot that one and we loved it. Wasn't perfect. It had some jams. Mostly good. Yeah, but it uses mini 30 mags, and it was a great gun. It was all I could do not to buy the Ruger American 7.6239. And there's a lot of guns that come through that I'm loaning from Gunnies like that. I'm like, oh, I love that gun, I love that gun. Personally, I'm really, really excited about it. I don't need it though. And if it doesn't serve a very distinct cast member, niche, I can't justify it, and so I didn't get it. I wish I had it here in the bunker just for comparison contrast. It looks very similar to this. If I remember right, it still has an OD stock like this. It's wearing a Hogue stock, an olive drab. I'm going off memory. I'll roll in some footage of it somewhere along the way when we talk about the Howa. Yeah, so I didn't go out to get a mini action per se. I just ended up with it, and this review will work for all Howa 1500s, which is basically a Remington 700. In my way of thinking, it really is. I mean, if we look at this mini action, right, it is mini in length. 6 inches in overall length, 10 ounces on the bolt. That's a mini action. So Howa makes a point, and correctly so, with that small overall length, the gun is going to be quicker to cycle, faster. And compared to a short action, 6.9 inches overall length, 13-ounce bolt, long action, 7.4 inches in overall length, 15 ounces. So there's something to be said for a mini action. Better on the SAWC, this is a very light rifle, quicker to fire, quicker follow-up shots. Different varieties of the Howa 1500 are out there. In fact, all kinds of varieties, all types of finishes, barrel contours, barrel lengths. This is a 22-inch barrel, non-threaded. I believe this is a #1 sport contour, so it's a lightweight contour. They also make the Howa 1500 in a #2 contour. It's a 22-inch barrel as well. Then have heavy barrel contour, 20 inches. And I think that one is threaded. So all this is subject to change. I'm talking the barrels. It just doesn't matter. It does matter, but I'm saying it doesn't really matter to cover each specific variant in the bunker review because it's all subject to change. Calibers in the mini action, when I checked last night on their website, they're showing 223, 7.6239. Love that cartridge, by the way. 6.5 Grendel. Is that still alive? I never hear anything about it. And I think once upon a year they had a 204 Ruger in the mini action. I don't know if that one's still being made. I didn't see it on their website. Maybe I missed it. If you go to their full-size Howa 1500s, sky's the limit. You can get whatever caliber you want, almost. And depending on which caliber you choose, once again, you'll go and bounce into a short action or long action rifle, right? Lots of different varieties. I may scroll some across as we talk here. I really like this one though, really like it. And then we go into philosophy of use. What would you use it for? Real super quick. After I got all my shooting done with this, I did bounce into the interweb for a little bit looked around to see what dudes were saying about it, because there is a fly in the ointment here, a quirk that this gun has. I'm going to talk about it honestly. Want to see if anyone else had it, and I didn't see it at all, by the way. What do you know? Nothing fancy with his own data yet again. No, but while I was doing that, I saw a review where a guy was talking about using the 7.62 out to 1,000 yards. What? What? Can you do it? Sure. Can you do out to 600? Sure. Is it smart? No, it's not. It's not. It doesn't have that much powder. It's a big, heavy 30 caliber bullet. It's an intermediate cartridge. It's ridiculous. Pardon me, it's damn ridiculous to say a 7.62 is a 1,000-yard caliber. 6.5 Creed, sure. 300 Win Mag, sure. 338 Lapua, sure. 1,600 meters, go for it. 7.62 no way. Philosophy of use then is an intermediate for me. You may be different for me, bolt action rifle. And I would say bolt action out to 400 yards, I could do it. I say AKs are like out to 300 for me, the way I shoot, which is poorly. You know, 500, no way. I wouldn't do it unless it's an emergency. And in an emergency, all the rules go out the window. I do what I have to do with the caliber I have on hand. You guys get that. By choice, though, as we establish our systems, that we consciously say, this is going to be a 700-yard caliber for me. It's just stupid. Sorry, that's my opinion, and I ain't backing away from that. 7.62 is an intermediate power cartridge, and it does it well for a reasonable distance. 300 to 400 yards for me. There you go. Philosophy of use. Hunting rifle, yes, I think so. It's a 30 caliber bullet. You guys know I love 7.62 If you load it right, I think it's a great whitetail cartridge. Other game cartridge, fun gun. We're talking POU. Sure, it's fun to shoot without rule of law. Yeah, actually, yes. If you had to use it, sure. It's bolt action rifle, legal in more places for longer. Bolt actions will be the last to be banned. You know, they will be banned, especially if it has an evil detachable magazine like this does.
Enough scope clearance.
They will be banned sooner or later. Says me, I've always predicted that, but it'll last longer. Into philosophy of use. I think you get it. On to features. Now, do you guys notice some key differences on the Howa 1500 Mini Action against the Ruger?
Good trigger press.
That's right. Threaded barrel is not in this version. I did read around that the Mini Action is available in a threaded barrel, and maybe it's that 20-inch heavy barrel one, but I would like it in this for sure, even though this is a #1 taper. It might be a little bit tough, you know, adapting this to a 5/8 to 24 thread. In fact, it may be impossible since that barrel is so small. We like threaded barrels. I do. I like running a can on it if we can, especially for a 7.62 because like when we shot the Ruger American, I'm trying to think if we put a suppressor on. I think we did, and it was really quiet. It really opens up a whole new venue to the gun. It really does. It's cool. No threaded barrel here. However, the barrel quality itself, as you will see in the accuracy, is actually pretty high. It's a cold hammer forged barrel. The twist rate is an unremarkable 1 to 9.45, if I remember right. It is unremarkable because it is, and should be, an obscure gun nerd fact for people like Nothing Fancy that should not be shared with anyone unless you want to drive them away. Word to the wise. For instance, let's say you're at the range shooting your Howa 1500 Mini Action in 7.62 Dude next to you comes over, shows a little bit of interest in the gun, what you shooting, what's the caliber, and the first thing you say, it's a Howa 1500 Mini Action. Oh, and by the way, did you know it has a twist rate of 1 to 9.45 inches? Yeah, here's what he will do if he's normal. He'll raise his wrist, look at his watch, and go, I gotta go. He'll leave. No one cares about twist rate, or as Elmer Fudd would say, twist weight. What they care about, is it accurate? Does it stabilize the bullet sufficiently? That's all you need to know, and we'll look at that in accuracy. Oh, by the way, my watch for the review is a Sterling Original Pilot. Long gone, I wouldn't even bother looking for it. I don't see it anywhere. Very affordable when I got it. I showed it in the reviews. I put links to it back then, so it was an embedded review. You should have pulled the trigger when you saw it, and they're not this cool. This one's modified by myself, hands modification, pure white, seconds hand, painted orange, decaled up. What decal I put on this? 422. Look at the camo band. Sick. Back to the rifle. So, cold hammer forged barrel. We talked about the twist rate. Twist weight. Stock is built by a company called HTI. They're a plastics company. So it's not like a CF stock. It's a plastic stock. It does have a bedded aluminum action here on the bottom. So your action screws will go through that aluminum block. There is no V block up here. It's just reinforced plastic. It is free floated. For the record, I've always said I don't have any problems at all with a plastic stock. Lightweight, they don't soak up water. They're pretty stable unless you get them really hot and then they start wiggling around a little bit, softening. I didn't see the problem with the Howa at all, albeit I didn't shoot it that much. There's a reason for that too I'm going to get to. Good traction on the stock right here. I wouldn't say it's excellent. Excellent would be the tactical sport rifle from FN. That was fantastic. This is probably 2 steps below that. Would I put skateboard tape on the Howa 1500? I think about it, I would. Depends if I really need it. Usually this is going to be on a bipod, rested, so do you really need skateboard tape up there? Probably not. Sling stud right here. Some complaints that this has loosened. It didn't on us, but then again, I wasn't shooting off bipod. Some users have put a nut on the back of this to stabilize it, and that will solve the problem. It shouldn't come loose, so Howa should look at that. All this portion right here is plastic. I don't have a problem with that at all. Plastic, so-called bottom metal, is great by me because it makes for a lightweight rifle. I'm not of the mindset, as I've said many times before, where I have to have steel, I have to have aluminum. This whole thing by Legacy Sports, that is Howa, plastic. Now we'll get into the magazine. This is a magazine-fed rifle, and I do have quite a bit of experience with Legacy Sports magazines. I'm going to show you one I have in bunker. It is actually a pretty interesting rifle. You'll see in a review later. The criticism I have on this, the first one is this is way too loose, this spring right here. To the point that every time I have a Legacy Sports magazine conversion, I will actually manufacture or have manufactured, like by Yoda, a stronger spring. This is way too loose. I hate that. There were complaints early on in the Howa 1500 life cycle, at least the DM versions, where this was too long. I think now it's too short. I know, that's what she said. Yeah, I went there. Yeah, I don't know. It's doable, but there, I'll just leave it at that. So let's look at the magazine real quick. It was a problem, like a big problem. And I do have experience with these magazines, like I said. I was shooting it out in the desert, the Howa 1500, Mini Action in sub 6239, and continuously this magazine was choking up the gun. The rounds were loading, but then they would flip vertically in the tube of the magazine. And I have a lot of video inset to show you of that process. It was very frustrating. My overall feeling is the magazine spring on this particular magazine is substandard, too weak. It should be a lot stronger. That is an overall criticism I have with Legacy Sports removable magazines. Strengthen your magazines, dudes. Strengthen the springs. Both the mag catch spring needs to be strengthened, and also the magazine body spring needs to be strengthened. So I'm not going to load it here. You'll see it in inset video somewhere. It was a problem. I mean, it got to the point where I couldn't shoot the gun anymore because I was pissed off. Yeah. Don't think of this as a condemnation of the Howa 1500. It isn't. It's a magazine condemnation, specifically this particular magazine. Chances are, if I wanted to spend the time, I don't, but if I did, I could have swapped it out with Howa and the other magazine would have run just fine, and this wouldn't even be a part of the bunker review. But like I said, I got a lot of experience with the Legacy Sports magazine. In fact, I've outfitted them to some of my custom rifles. Here's a 6.5 Creed with a Bartline barrel, wearing a substandard scope. It's all I had at the time. And this, once upon a year, was the Weatherby Vanguard in 308. But now it's in 6.5 Creed. And this is a sub-MOA rifle all day long. It is fantastic. And the magazine of choice, ladies and gentlemen, is this one, Legacy Sports. So let's load this one right here on camera, and we'll see if the rounds flip up vertically like they did in the other one. Not going to happen. I will still say this magazine that I'm loading right here, the magazine tension is still a little bit light for me. I like it to be, here we go again, stiffer. It's not. Yeah, it works fine. In all the Legacy Sports magazines that I've shot, and I have a bunch of them, they've been fine. That's why it's not a combination of the type. So these aren't flipping. They're not rattling around. Same magazine. It's just this magazine. There you go. So criticism leveled. It's deserved. Whatevs, you know. Trigger. I don't have my trigger scale here, but the trigger pulls very nicely, very crisp, very clean. I would estimate about, like I know, 3.5 pounds. Fantastic trigger. It needs nothing. Here's your bolt handle. I wish it was a little bit longer. The bolt handle, freaking theme to the review. Yeah, I just felt like it was, I don't know, I felt like I was shooting a 22 with this bolt handle. I would like it to kind of extend down that far. It clears the scope just fine. You can see it right here. And the scope I outfitted on here is a Nikon ProStaff 7. Fantastic. It is a go-to scope, high value scope in the project. It's been that way for about, I don't know, 8 years. Non-illuminated, works great, clear, good picture. And then I had a set of Tally Remington 700 rings that mounted up perfectly on the Howa. Like I said, it's basically a Remington 700. Push feed, 2 locking lugs, same design. You do have a 3-position safety on this though, unlike a 700. So 700 is 2-position, this is 3-position right here. So forward is fire, middle is safe and cock, back is safe and you cannot raise the bolt handle. So I do like the 3 positions. I think that's really cool. 700 does not have that, once again. Here's your full pistol grip. Again, same traction level. No raised cheek piece. I do like the plastic stock on the Howa. It's not grabby. So unlike some of those others, to include Hogue, I mean, they're rubber, they're comfortable when you're actually in the stock, but carrying it around, they're always grabbing on fabric. I don't like it. Solid recoil pad right here, non-ventilated. It needs to be taped with electrical tape. Sling stud right here. End of features review. Couple things I forgot, maybe. Let's go back to that barrel quality. Okay, no, we're not talking about the twist rate. The twist weight we're talking about is cold, hammer forged nature and how it shot. And I will say it shot pretty darn good for a 7.62 with non-match loads. Check this out, dudes. So this is Silver Bear. Isn't that what I shot? Right here. So this is Silver Bear surplus. Probably hard to find now with everything that's going on. Great load though. I love Silver Bear. Love Golden Bear. Look at this. This is operational out in the desert. Look at that. That is barrel quality right there, ladies and gentlemen of TNP. Barrel quality. Here's Silver Bear. Look at those groups. This is from a polymer table in the freaking desert. Hornady SST surprisingly did not shoot that impressively. Here's Silver Bear again. This is, dudes, this is like a 1/2-inch group with AK ammo. 1/2-inch group. What? Another group. Another group. Actually, that's Red Army brass. That's all over the place. That stuff's crap. But accuracy, I would register here in the bunker as excellent to outstanding for the Howa 1500. I see a phenomenal barrel quality. I see free float. I see everything I want in a bolt action rifle. It is really remarkable. You'll pay so little for this gun. This is going to be a very positive review, despite the fact that the magazine caused me problems, because I'm going to put it all on that magazine. I can swap out that magazine. I can send it to Legacy Sports, no problem. I can get more of them. I really don't think it's a showstopper. The magazine is a very important component to the gun. It needs to work and work well. This one has whatever, a faulty mag. That's what I'm chalking it up to. The gun itself is pretty squared away. Trigger, again, phenomenal. The smoothness, perfect. No ejection, no extraction problems. Really impressed overall, despite that issue, with the Howa 1500 Mini Action. And that leads us to, would I buy it? I would not buy this version of it. I need a threaded barrel, like I said. I wouldn't mind a little bit heavier barrel as well if I have to do that to get a TB. That's just me. Compared against a Ruger American Ranch, which also was really accurate. I do think the Howa 1500 was more accurate than that gun. It's a hard question. The thing that, the advantage that the Ruger has is it takes Mini 30 mags, so you have 20 round mags out there. They're steel, they're heavier. We did have some problems with those too, but not a lot as I remember. It's a really hard choice, really hard choice. I love the accuracy potential I see in the Howa. And that's, again, with just basic ammo. I'm not even really trying that hard. I mean, if I were to find some special loads, I mean, every group I shot would probably look just like that out of the Howa. That excites me. That excites me. Maybe it is a 1,000-yard rifle with that level of accuracy. I mean, no, I'm not going to go there. I'll say 400 yards max, more like 3 preferably, but with that accuracy, yeah. And I'm not Joe long range, I'm not, but I have shot plenty of long range. And I don't like ranging out with any gun that is over MOA because I'm not that good of a shooter. Because if I'm shooting into, for instance, 2 inches or 3 inches at 100 yards, then my dispersion at 400 yards is even more.
Come on.
Give me an MOA rifle because it makes my job easier. I don't have to worry about the rifle or the ammo. I'll worry about the wind, the ballistic computation, myself as a shooter. An accurate rifle just makes my job easier. But back to the question, between this and a Ruger American 7.62 which would you buy, Nut and Fancy? If you're sticking to the 7.62 and you're sticking to the bolt action format, just between those two rifles. That is a rough question. Here's your answer, Ruger. Just being honest, I'd buy the Ruger. Threaded barrel, excellent trigger, short overall length, just like this one. I like the barrel profile better, threaded barrel. It wasn't quite as accurate as the 1500, but man, it was pretty close. As I recollect, I absolutely love that gun. And so did Jardine. We're like, this gun is awesome. There you go. There's your answer. Yeah. Get ready to be sad because the bunker review is coming to an end. That's right. Not too much more to say. Not too much. Those two guns are what I wanted to profile in this bunker review. The Howa 1500 Mini Action against the Ruger American. They're both fantastic rifles. Each one has a little bit different feature set. I think both, for what you get, are super affordable. Bolt action rifles, legal in a lot more places. I love the detachable magazines of both. The Howa 1500, the accuracy is absolutely phenomenal. You'll, by the way, see that across the board in any owner of the Howas. They'll rave about its accuracy. They do a great job. From what I can tell with these barrels, it's just fantastic. Time to sign off. Oh, by the way, I want to show you 2 pictures before I go. This is Sneaky Pete in California. These are his 2 kids. They're TNPers. They're Patreon members. This is Mateo. I think I got your name right, Mateo. Raising them right. That's what you do. Get the new generation on board with the Constitution, owning guns, operating dangerous things with high levels of responsibility and morality. And there's his daughter. This is Maddie. Look at that. What a great dad. Pete, great job, dude. Send your cards and letters to the P.O. Box. I'll paste it in the description here. Thanks again for being TNP Patreon. Good times. Good times in the bunker. Great job, Howa. Love the gun. Despite the magazine problem, I think it's a win. Signing off. Thanks so much. See ya next time.